do 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 do. Hello everybody, welcome. My name is RODGON. I am an artist. I'm a designer. I'm a teacher. I'm a mentor. I'm a person that will teach you how to draw. And today, if I can find my actual art supplies, because my bed is a mess, I will teach you guys how to draw things. So, let's talk. Hi, how are you guys today? So, let me give you guys a little update on the channel. The channel has officially surpassed 170,000 followers. Whew, that is nuts. So that is awesome. Oh, you love my lives. Oh, well, that's awesome. That's a great compliment to me because, I do these often, so I actually enjoy them. Hi. What are we going to learn today? Well, I don't know. What do you guys want to learn today? Do you guys want to learn how to draw, like, body parts? Do you guys want to learn how to draw, like, heads? What do you guys want to learn how to draw today? Yesterday, we were talking about simple bodies and how to distinguish everything for just the torso and the hip bones, and how to learn how to pose your characters in really cool ways. So that is something that we learned yesterday. We also learned how to identify the parts of the skull. And even though this head is completely like warped, like, oh my God, what is wrong with this one? It's like the head is just too long, right? There you go. That's better. Too long. Okay. So can you do a tutorial on doing what? Faces on characters. Expressions and faces. How about that? Yeah, we can do that. We can work on expressions and we can work on faces. So today's lesson shall be expressions and faces. Let me put my little dragon over here. Let me take this. Let's put it here. Papa. So today's lesson will be... Today's lesson will be faces and expression. Faces. So we will learn how to draw awesome faces mapped out in a couple different ways. I'll teach you guys how to do that. So we will draw faces today. Oh, it's a horrible face. But you guys get an idea. And we will draw expressions. So we will be talking about like facial expressions and how to like manipulate those and how to get better at getting complex facial expressions, right? Things that are not necessarily like the easiest things to draw. Like sadness and happiness at the same time, like anger, greediness, stuff like that. So we will focus on those. But before we start our lesson, we need to start paying our entry fees. I don't ask for money for my entry fees, but if you're going to stay for my class, you're going to need to share the stream and you need to like the stream. So you need to hit that little heart button and you need to hit that little share button. So once we get to 100 shares and we get to, we have 500 people, we can easily get to like 6K hearts. Once we get to those, we will start our lesson for today. So meanwhile, I will start writing down what our lesson is today. Faces and expressions. So we've been talking about the face quite a bit. So today's lesson is going to be mostly focused on learning a couple different aspects of our face, which will be our eyebrows. We will learn how to position our eyebrows in cool, stylized ways using the worm approach. Right. We're going to use the worm approach to figure out how to do really cool eyebrows. Then we're going to use the mask approach to figure out how to get our cheekbones and our facial characteristics like the nose bridge and the nose canal. So then we are going to use the mask method for masking faces, for faces. Okay, this is a method that I've recently adopted to be more of like my center stone of how I draw characters, and it helps with facial expressions a lot because it just gives you a lot of freedom when it comes down to moving your eyebrows up and down, left and right, and it also lets you rotate your character really easy. So we are going to be focusing on the mask method as our method of creating faces. So as you guys can tell as well, I am not focusing on the lower part of the actual face. I'm focusing on the top part of my actual skull. The reason that I do that is because your jaw is very flexible, right? Your jaw moves in a lot of different places depending on what type of facial expression you're making. So if you're making like a character with a closed mouth, you might have something like this. If you open your jaw, or you are talking or doing a cool expression, your jaw suddenly becomes a different shape because it's getting distorted because of how your body moves, how your body works. This gets pulled down, this gets rotated back, a lot of movement happens here. And also, if you're going to be doing facial expressions, like really, really, really facial expressions, you're going to get poutiness, you're going to get like draw differently, You're not going to always want to have your faces doing that. Like just by changing the facial, we can have a bunch of different expressions just by changing the size of the jaw and changing the size of the eyebrows. So it's a matter of just not just preference, but it's just logic that the actual initial shape of your face would not include the movable parts of your face. Right? That's the same reason that I don't include my arms and my legs inside of my normal like body structures. So if I'm doing a body, right, I focus on the parts that don't move first, which is my collar, my rib cage and my hip bones. Those don't really move. They don't flex. They don't like distort. Yeah, they rotate in space, but they're still connected as hard surfaces. So the reason that these are hard surfaces allows me the ability to just know where things connect to them and then play around with that, right? You can do, since they don't move, I can position anything I want coming out of them and it's going to look right as long as I know where they're coming from. Essentially, they're your base, the base for your body. So as long as these are actually placed correctly, whatever you do with your body is going to be like just completely up to style. It's going to be completely up to like your knowledge of perspective, your knowledge of anatomy. Like if you want muscles, you're going to have to know how to draw muscles. If you don't want muscles, you just have to know where it comes from. So positioning is really, really important. And that's also a very big factor in your actual bodies, like your face. So in this case, what I'm drawing here is my hard surface that doesn't move. In this case, the hard surface that I'm drawing is the top part of the skull. So I'm focusing primarily on drawing a mask, but that is representing the top part of my skeletal, or my skull, not my skeletal system, but my skull. Right? That's representing my cheekbones, my temples, and my nose canal. That is what that mask is representing. So seeing as I'm not basing it off just random imaginary lines, I'm just basing it off of actual anatomy. That is going to help me figure out what the little bumps and indentations and like factors of like where my nose is going to come out from and all that stuff is going to factor in. So taking this into consideration, that this is this, well, we can start figuring out our facial structure up until that point, which is going to be relatively easy. We're going to make a sphere. We're going to draw a mask. And the top line of the mask, this top line is your eyebrows. So however you decide to change it, if it rotates up, it changes your eyebrow up. If you make it go down, your eyebrows are going to go down. So this is your eyebrow line. At the edge of this eyebrow line, where your eyebrow ends, this is where your temple is going to be, or the side of your face. And it's going to be dictated by the edge of your eyebrow. Right? And that happens with pretty much any face, by the way. Whenever you are drawing a face, normally at the edge of your face, regardless of the face, wherever you have your eyebrow, that is your temple, and that normally starts dictating the side of your face. So, yay, now you know something else. Right? So that's going to be a factor that's going to help you down the line as well. So as we keep that in mind, that's going to be the side of the face. That's going to indicate the temple and the side of the face. This down here, this bottom part, that's your cheekbone. Right? That is your cheekbone. That is where your roundness for your cheek is going to come out. And also that is also going to be where this connects to your chin in a straight line, creating that extra flatness to the side of your face. So now you have your temple and you have your cheek very, very quickly. You have your mask, you have your temples, you draw your chin, and then from the edge of your cheeks to your chin, you have essentially all the muzzle for your face. And then you just have to add your jaw, however wide you want it. And just in 2 seconds, you have all the information you need for your face. So it's a very, very, very strong way to map it out, right? It's just a very consistent way to do it as well, because you can do that from the side as well. Create your mask, that gives you the side of your face. From the edge of there to your chin, you have your flat side. Your ear is somewhere in between, right here in your temple, and then that connects to your jaw. Your jaw goes from one side of your face to the other underneath, so it goes like this, from one ear to the other, going around your face, and that creates the pocket for my neck. My neck is going to connect from the bottom of my ear to my collarbone, and then from the back of my head to the top of my spine, or my rib cage. My rib cage is just going to be something along the lines like this, and that is how your body starts connecting to the rest of your body, connecting at an angle and connecting to a shape that's not necessarily flat, right? It's not necessarily a flat surface, and it's not necessarily just an oval, but that comes with time, and you understanding little tiny portions of it all the time is going to be how you get better. It's not going to be taking all of it at once, right? So if at first you're having trouble with this concept of the mask, I need you to take it in steps. So the first step that we're going to take is step 1. And step 1 is just creating a sphere. Learning how to draw a sphere front to back. Right? Just drawing a sphere and drawing a circle inside of a circle. That is step 1. Circle inside of other circle. So the reason that we do this is so that we can identify the front and the back of an item really, really quickly. You can even make a little mark if you want, like this is the front, this is the back, right? Connect them if you want to. See what happens. You end up creating this flat surface, right? You end up dividing your shape. Now, if you take this same concept, but you apply it to all the other parts of the sphere, you end up with subdivisions, right? You can do this vertically. You can do this horizontally. The moment that you can do it in both ways, you can officially say that you can trace a sphere in front and back. So now when you draw something like this and something like this, you should be thinking, oh, this is the front surface and this is the back surface. So this is step 1, practicing this and mastering this element, right? The moment that you can get past this and you can actually draw a circle, you get to step 2. Step 2 is going to involve drawing your sphere, and you're going to divide it twice. You're going to divide it once, twice. okay? Creating a little mid pocket right here. You're going to create one that has just a little middle section, essentially dividing your face into 3 parts. You're going to take the middle part right here that you draw, and you're going to draw your little mask in here. Right? You're going to do that, and you're going to practice that over and over. 1, 2. Create my mask. Right? It's not going to be perfect, and you're not going to it's not going to look perfect at first, but it's going to take a while for you to understand, oh, I can make my mask bigger. I can make my mask smaller. I can move my masks up. As long as I follow these guidelines that go around it, it's going to fit in the right place. Huh. And the more that you practice going around your shape, you're going to just naturally develop the ability to be able to draw things in different perspectives. Because you're mapping them out like a grid. So essentially, this is the way that you're going to approach these. As things start getting more into a profile view, this is going to get a little more complicated if you're not very familiar with perspective. But that is why you divide these things, right? And we keep it nice and simple. Imagine this is a complete profile, so this midline would be completely profile. So how far up do I want my mask to be? I know that I don't want it all the way to the edge, so if this is the middle of my profile, I know that I'm going to move it a little bit higher up, so I just draw my mask a little bit higher up. I only draw half the mask, so I only draw about here, so the dip, and this is about half of my mask, right? If I had the other side, it would be like this. So I'm only drawing half, and I got to account for the little dip that happens in the middle. So that is essentially what you're doing when you're drawing in a profile view. Now, would it be really, really hard to just add a little eye inside of these things? Probably not. Right? It's probably not very hard to just add a little eye in there. And if you can add an eye, I mean, you should be able to add a little mouth in that line. Right? So as we slowly learn how to map something in there, you're going to slowly map out different faces in different perspectives, and you're going to add a simple eye so you can get an understanding of where the positioning for these elements go. So you got to work your way up slow, right? So the next step from here is step 3. Once you understand how to get that mask, now we can start differentiating the edges of the face. So step 3, we're going to take our shape that we drew, our mask, and then we are going to start flattening out some sides of the face. Knowing that the temple comes out of the top edge of our mask, we already know that that is going to be the first side of our mask. And then we're going to take from the cheekbone, we're going to go all the way around to wherever we decide our chin is. And that's going to be the sides of our face. Okay? So it kind of looks like a helmet now, right? It kind of looks like a person is like in a spaceman suit. So we're going to continue that, and we're going to just practice doing that over and over. Temples to chin. Creates the side of the face. Okay? That is going to map us out or help us understand the edges of our faces. And we're still in a sphere. We haven't even moved on to anything past the complicated shape. This is just a simple sphere that's being divided. We're not adding like points. We're not adding anything outside of the perimeters of this sphere. At this point, we're just adding a little mask and adding a little bit of contouring to make that happen. So once you get to this point, right? Once you pass to this point and you're able to do this going around, you can move on to actual like details. So now you have everything you need. This is going to be your mannequin. So your mannequin in itself is going to end up looking like this. Let's say we keep it like nice and round. So you're gonna end up with something like this, right? How does that translate to your actual drawing of a character? Well, that's your eyebrows, that's your cheekbone, that's your chin, this is your nose, this is where your eyes go, this is your temple, so that marks the side of your face where your ear goes. And as you guys see, it's actually quite simple to map out your face based on that simple understanding of these elements. Now you can go in and add a nose bridge if you want, and make it even easier on yourself. But the overall essence of the mask technique just gives you all the cornerstones of the face that you need without really having to add a lot of detail, so that you can add your own mapping style. Like you can draw any style that you want within it. So let's make two different faces right here, just from a simple sphere, and see how much drastic the styles can be by just changing whatever line work we choose to put inside. So we'll have similar shapes. Let's see, let's make one like a Disney style, where you have like super big eyes, and they're all nice and round, and they have like little perky noses for noses, and their eyes are oval, right? So we have our general face, and we can pretty much sum it up like that. Okay? Or we can go with something completely different and just add a bunch of more like anatomy details, right? Make sure that we add all the wrinkles, all the crevices, all the actual anatomy that gets pulled in there, an actual like nose instead of just a little diamond. And we actually add like muscle features and stuff like that, right? So your knowledge of anatomy and how your body moves and how your body's constructed is what's going to allow you to be able to go from something super cartoony, right, to something that's more comic based, or like, like novel based, or, even like portraiture and stuff like that. It's just going to depend on what type of styling you want to give your mannequin. So it's not going to be just hyper dependent on the actual, like the mask doesn't give you a cartoony look. The mask just gives you a place to put your things in, right? So it just teaches you the placement of things instead of teaching you how to draw things the RODGON way. Sometimes I put them on YouTube, sometimes I don't. So it's kind of like a treat if you get a chance to actually see me live. I'll get to the point where I have like a team of people that can help me like clip out stuff and like, edit stuff. But I don't have a team, it's just me. So it's actually really hard to take that and then like download them and wait for editing, and then at the same time having to do work and freelance, and actually like, it's a big hassle. So sometimes I do get to do it when I have time and it's easy. But when I don't, I feel bad because a lot of these lessons are really like really, really good. So, if anybody is willing to like record these and then like send me the files later, that'd be great. But, outside of doing that, then I don't really have like a way to do it very often. I can show you guys where I'm doing it from. So you guys like see my scenario here. I'm just on my bed. It's just me, little me. So I'm just here on my bed, just teaching you guys how to do things from my bed. Yeah, if anybody wants to like help me record things and then like send me the files so that I can actually upload them, that'd be great. Like anybody that wants to clip parts of like the lesson that they actually enjoyed and send me those clips, that'd be amazing. I look amazing. Thank you. I do have a wonderful, wonderful mustache. So, using my own technique, I will draw myself. Your local neighborhood humble art teacher. My glasses. Remember that whenever you sketch something, right? Like that initial line that you draw doesn't have to be the last line that you continue with. Like that is something that we like, I see so often in people. Like they draw this initial sketch, right? They'll be like, they'll draw their face and then they think they have to stick to that exact shape, right? Instead of seeing it as a guideline, as it should be, a guideline, just a guideline for you to draw shapes in, people get so tied in getting that exact shape. So whenever they try to like draw like noses and then mouths and stuff, like if they have an open mouth, they just draw an open mouth, like limiting themselves to that point, right? They're like, ah, but that's not what would happen. Like your jaw would actually move down a little bit and you would extend your mouth a little bit more. So don't be afraid to draw over your drawings or not to not follow your own guidelines. That's perfectly fine as well. Like you don't have to always continue with the drawings and the lines that you drew at first. You can always change them to match exactly what you need. If you have trouble drawing from memory, right? If you have a problem drawing from memory and you don't know how hairstyles look and stuff, go out to a park, go out to a mall, and go draw people. Don't ask people to show you how to draw hair. You need to know how to understand hair. That is something that you need to get taught, how to understand hair. But to draw hair, you need to go out and look at people's hair and draw it. Kind of like if you had plants, right? If you have a plant and you want to know how to draw a goddamn plant, you need to go out and draw plants. You can't just be told how to draw a plant. You need to go out and you need to draw plants. It's just that easy. Like if someone told you that art is easy, they're wrong, right? Like if someone told you that being an artist was gonna be easy peasy, easy lemon squeezy, like walk in the park, like oh my god, my life is gonna be so easy because I know how to draw a little bit. No, 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 no. Being an artist is freaking hard. Okay, like being an artist as a living is incredibly, incredibly hard. Like being creative on demand is incredibly taxing. Hi, I just joined. Sorry to interrupt, but what? But really, really live if you could draw a skull. Okay, let's draw a skull. We're talking about faces anyway, so let's draw a little skull. So if we start with our mask technique, that's going to mask out exactly all the elements of the skull. We have our nose canal. We have our space for our eye sockets. This is also our cheekbones. And that's going to lead to our teeth, right? That's going to lead to our temples on the side, which gives us the side of our face. This is going to divide the top, and you normally have like a split right there in the middle. Then from there, we need space for our brain, so we need to give this depth, right? We need brain space. And then from there, we have our bottom jaw that connects to our chin. The jaw, when it goes back, leads our upper teeth and molars. That is what is happening when the teeth, like the jaw goes back. That carries our teeth towards the back. And then it goes up. Right? It carries our teeth back. and then it goes up. Inside of here, we see our eyeballs that sit a little bit closer to the top. And a little bit of the other eyeball is covered by, first of all, by the passage of your eye socket and then your nose bridge. So that is what's happening when you are looking at a skull. When you're translating this to an actual drawing, you end up with situations like this. You have your eye socket, mask, eye socket, nose canal. Eyebrows at the top of the eye socket. We have our eyeballs that have eyelids. So our eyeball will have an eyelid going around it. And we've talked about those a while. Then we're going to have our nose that comes out of our little nose canal. And it connects back to the nose canal, so it stays within that space. Then we have our teeth underneath, that our mouth goes around our teeth, creating that. Our chin is going to be right here. And then we just try our hardest to match the outline of the jaw. When you're drawing this side of the face, you're not seeing the jaw clearly, see? Like the jaw would go back into the skull. So on this side, you're seeing your cheekbone, and you have your temple, which creates that little divot in the middle. That, from your cheek down to your chin, is your cheek into your chin. On this side, yes, you see an ear and the jaw, but on this side, you don't. You see your cheekbone and your cheek. How do you draw profiles? Profiles are the easiest thing in the world to draw. Do you guys want to see how to draw profiles? You guys want to know how to draw profiles? Are you guys excited to learn how to draw profiles? I'm going to show you guys how to draw profiles incredibly easy. Incredibly, like ridiculously easy. But in order for me to teach you guys my tips and tricks, I need you guys to do me a favor. I just surpassed 50,000 followers on YouTube. If you guys are not following me on YouTube, I need you guys to go follow me because I need that 80,000 mark. I need to get to 80,000 so I can get a plaque, so I can get that little like bronze plaque, so I can say that I'm a YouTuber. And then all my nieces and nephews will love me forever and they'll think I'm the coolest person in the world. And, since, yeah. How about you guys go help me out with that, and then I'll help you guys in teaching you guys the 1, 2, 3 method to drawing heads. I'll teach you guys literally like the easiest, most simple way to space out your heads. But in order to do that, I need you guys to go subscribe to my YouTube. I need you guys to go just subscribe to all my stuff. And if you guys want to hit that little share button some more, that helps me out too. So right now, let's see. We are at 42,000. How about we get that to 50K hearts, and we get up to 400 shares. Once we get to 400 shares and 50K likes, we will continue with our lesson. And until then, I'm going to tease you guys with faces made in that same style. I'm going to teach you guys the power of just knowing math. Math will literally get you guys everything you need. Yeah, once we get to those numbers, we will continue and I'll teach you guys this trick, and it's so easy. Like, it's so easy. Like, the measuring system, as long as you just take into consideration the actual anatomy behind what you're doing, you guys will be able to draw profiles and then translate that to like a 3/4 and frontal view very easy. So you guys will be able to take that same concept, apply it to side views, and be able to come up with really cool things as well. because it translates perfectly, not just from side view, but it translates perfectly through 3/4 views and, like side views as well. So, ta-da! So if you guys want to know that, oh, we already crushed the 50K hearts. Jesus Christ, you guys are quick. Oh my God. Ugh. I normally think I'm going to have a little bit of time to rest my hand in between. I never get a chance to. We're almost there with the shares. We can start. Okay, so let me explain to you guys what we're going to be doing right now. So I'm going to show you guys how to draw profiles, and I'm going to show you guys how to translate that knowledge into a 3/4 view and into a frontal view. Okay, so we are going to start with a simple shape. It doesn't have to be a square. It can be a square because it's easy, but it doesn't have to be a square. I'm going to show you guys that, and I'm going to show you guys with like a more circular shape or even a circle. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to dictate a couple elements inside. And I want you guys to just get used to doing these randomly at first and then eventually figure out what each section does and then modify it. But at first, I'm going to just have you draw a tic-tac-toe bar inside of any of these shapes. Right? We're going to divide this into 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Cool. So does everybody have that? If everybody has their sketchbook and everybody is watching this and you guys are following along, click the heart button. Show me the love. Okay, so now that we have our features, we are going to mostly focus on one little square, right? We're going to focus on this little guy right here. That little guy is going to be where most of our features go. And that includes our eyebrows, our nose, and our eyes. Remind you of what we're drawing. We're focusing on where the area for the mask. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to draw a little mask in there. We're going to draw a rounded shape right here. And then for our nose canal, we're going to draw a little line because we're only halving a mask, right? We're going to take our mask, we're going to half it because we're looking in profile. But we have to indicate where our nose bridge and our nose start. So I like to make a little line and make a little dip. Make a little, and that's going to translate to your eyes, your eyebrows, and where your nose comes from. Okay, so that is essentially the focus points that we're going to worry. It doesn't matter what styling we choose for these guys. Again, it can be cartoony. It could be really, really comical. It's kind of irrelevant what styling you choose. You can just go ahead and have super, super fun with it. As long as the features end up in that same area, it's going to look right. Okay, so we have a little dip for the nose canal, that little dip. And we're going to have a little dip for where our nose canal meets our forehead, and that is going to be where our eyes go. That little dip is where your eyes connect pretty much, right? So you can take that and make that into that mapping point right there. So once you have that, you have space to draw your nose. You can draw your nose big, you can draw your nose small. In this one, we just drew it nice and normal. It's going to go into the other section. Normally, it's going to cross into the other spots, but that's external from your core, so it's fine. You get to draw. It doesn't have to be part of your actual shape at first. Your chin is going to be this bottom cornerstone. Your ear is going to be either on the third line or the second line or a little bit behind it, depending on how much space you want to leave for the back of your head. but it's going to fall within that same structure because it normally falls between your nose canal and the top of your eyebrows. Nose canal, top of eyebrows. Nose canal, top of eyebrows. So it has to fall in between those two areas. This is already your cheekbone. So you already have it established as your cheekbone since you drew the mask. This is also going to be the temple. So this is going to be the side of the face because that's where your eyebrows end. This front part, if you have hair or whatever, you can use that for hair, but if not, it just gets rounded out. This goes in the back, connects in the back of the ear, and then your neck comes out from there. Your jaw comes from the bottom of your ear and connects to your chin. Now, you might be considering, oh my God, I don't know how to draw these little like parallel lines. Oh, what is happening? Oh, I don't know. Well, remember, these, they carry your teeth going back and then it goes back up. So if we draw our teeth line, right, we can tell how far our teeth go. We can tell how far this is going to go back and then go back to our jaw. My teeth. My teeth would range around here and then come back up. And that is how I measure that area. That's how I keep it consistent. And that's even if the person doesn't have a really big chin, it leads to a very good understanding of where everything falls. So that is the 1, 2, 3 approach. And let's do a couple exercises so you guys understand how it is. Okay, so we're going to start with any shape. We're going to split it into a tic-tac-toe pattern. We're going to use this little square right here to draw our eyebrow line, draw our mask. This middle line is going to tell me where my eyes go. This is going to tell me where my nose comes out from. My lips and my mouth are going to be within this area. And if this is going to be my chin, if that's the shape that I chose for my chin, that's going to be my chin. My ear goes in this space right here. And then I connect my chin and my jaw. This top part gets rounded out for my forehead, and it leads me back to the back of my head into my neck. Whatever I decide to draw for my mouth and my lips, I can add it there. And this is also going to give me my temples, and it gives me plenty of space for hair and stuff like that as well. Right, so it's a very fun and easy way to do that. So you can do that and do that with cartoony stuff. It doesn't have to be the complex stuff that I'm drawing. Like you can change out the pattern, make it bigger in the front, so your eyes are super huge. So that your nose and your mouth is smaller. And get a completely different look from your things. Okay, so it's not relegated to a single way of drawing. You just get to find your own styling that you want within it and then figure out how to make that work for your benefit. But it's all within the same system, right? Everything is just going through the 3x3 rule, and it just gives you nice, solid shapes. And then if you want to go into caricatures and stuff like that, it's very cool because now you can just draw random shapes, split them, right? And then you can start figuring out all your details inside by sections. Like you don't have to worry about going into another section until you finish that one section. And as the more you get better with anatomy, the more you're going to be able to add more things to it. See, it's not something that is just like going to be for your like kitty table stuff. You can use this to create really cool elements, period, regardless of your skill level. So if you're looking to transition this into like a 3/4 view, let's talk about the front view first. The front view is actually really easy because you can just take any shape and do the same similar concept. Did we run out of ink? No. Same concept, but instead of splitting it into threes, you're only going to split it into 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You're going to take that middle part, you're going to make that into your mask. Temples, nose, mouth, eyebrows, eyes, and connecting all the points. Right? So the concept itself is very, very similar. Now it's just simplified when you take it into a 3/4 view or a 2/4 view because it's just 2. So you take your shape, split it in 2, split it in 3 up. Then you already have your mask already set up for that. So your mask is already giving you all the information for all the other parts of your body. Temples, cheekbones, chin, jaw, ears, right? So the front view is actually really, really, really easy. Just split it into 3 and add your features according to what we've talked about. We'll talk about even more cartoony ones, just super simple ones. Let's say we want to like just draw a shape and we want to draw simple balloon eyes. That still falls within the spectrum of that. Still a third of the face for the features and the nose canal, right? So it's not based on style. So now that we have this rule for the side and we have this rule for the front, well, what's keeping us from just applying those two concepts together? We're going to come up with a shape. We're going to split that in half. Half of it is going to be the front. Half of it is going to be the back. The front is divided into 2 and 3, like we just talked. And then the back is divided into 3 and 2, as we talked. So if we have these measurements and we already know where everything falls, I know that my mask is going to start here and it's going to end up at the first square right here. So I know that my face is going to cover that space because simply by following this and this method, right? From the side, our mask falls at the edge of that first square. And from the front, it ends at the edge of our second square. So by just mapping those out, I already have the depth that I need for my mask. And then following the same guidelines, the ear after the third one, the nose right here, mouth, and then just mapping out those features, you are able to draw a 3/4 face really, really easy. So it's not going to be overly complicated to just combine these two rules together. Again, let's talk about the box. If we just do it simply, we split the box, we make a box. The front is going to have our feature zone, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And then if we did it from the side, we would have the split 1, 2, 3, and this would be our feature zone. So it ends up being that all 3 of those are my feature zone. I know that the middle of my face is here because that's where my middle part is. So now my cheek line has to just go around to this side and go up until my eyebrow line. This dip and the side is going to have to be matched on this side, right? Because we're looking at it 3/4. This is wrapping around this shape. So it's going to dig in, creating this little divot that we talked about the dip in the eyes. Remember how we talked about that little dip in the mask? That's going to be where your eyes are. Well, that's what this dip is. Okay? That's what that dip is. The dip that you see right here, that is the dip that you see in a 3/4 view. That's also the dip that you see going into this space. And then we just put in our features, that we know where they're supposed to go because we already mapped them out. And then we start connecting all those points together. And you get a 3/4 face. Woohoo! Nice and simple math. Like it doesn't even really take much perspective. Like you just go and you can draw a random shape, split it in 2, decide one side's the front, one side's the side. This is the front. I'll decide a middle line for it. Divide it into 3. I'm going to take the side of my face, follow those lines through, but I'm going to divide this into 3s. And I just decide where my mask is going to go. And then I literally can just trace the outline of this to come up with my face. Right, so it's a very important, very, very good, easy way to learn how to map your features out that doesn't really follow the same guidelines that you might be seeing from like the Loomis method or other methods out there that get like thrown around. But I personally really, really have found that this way of drawing faces is just incredibly intuitive. And even testing them out in public, it actually helps out a lot, right? Drawing people has just become a little bit easier understanding that concept. And then as you apply your stylings to it, it just becomes a little bit even more intuitive. So it just becomes a very, very easy to follow guideline. Anyways, let's see. Let me see if I have more examples. So as you can see, you can start applying it to something simple, something complex. You can start just generating views from the front, from the back, from the sides. And as you get better with anatomy, you can just start applying that anatomy to your actual characters. And the more that you learn, even you can apply it to animals too. Right? It doesn't have to be relegated to anything with a skull will fit within these guidelines. So you can actually do quite a bit with them. I like using it with our animals all the time. From elephants to pandas to ducks to foxes to anything in general. It tends to get the mask approach. Let's see what other. Yeah, so it just helps out a lot in understanding. And, we are getting close to the end of our page. So if you guys are interested in learning and you guys are actually enjoying what I have to offer you guys, I would highly suggest that you guys go check out my sketchbooks and my books that I have in my description. The books are called Art Block. There's volumes 1 and 2. In volume 2 and the big book of, I have one coming up soon. The new book is going to be the big book of derpy animals. So that book is going to be launching probably this week as an ebook, and then I will work it in as a printed book in a week or 2. But that is going to be my next book, and it's just filled with awesome little animals and little super cute things that I've done throughout my whole career of derpy, little silly animals doing silly things. So that is going to be a collection of about 100 pages as well, very similar to the books that I do for Art Block. And it's going to just be cute, adorable animals that you guys can use again for reference, for practice, for studying, to help you guys with your projects, to help you guys get some ideas to do something with a logo, any of that stuff. That is what my books are for, and you guys can use them freely, and I give you guys full permission to be able to use the artwork in there, to be able to get better and to be able to actually improve, right? I'm your teacher, I'm your mentor. You might not know it yet, but I am your favorite teacher. And I'm going to be one of the most fully invested teachers that you guys will ever have. So, because that's what I like to do, and that's what I love to do, and I love helping people. So, if you guys feel like helping back, that is one way you guys can do it. And if not, just go subscribe to my stuff. If you guys subscribe to my stuff, you guys are helping more than enough. Let the companies pay for my shit. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys so much for keeping me company on this wonderful day. Thank you guys for, helping me teach a cool lesson and help me to refine something that I've been wanting to play around with a little bit more, right? Being able to understand your concepts and your lessons and the way that you teach them is very important as a teacher. So without students, I can't really learn. So in a big way, I got to thank all of you guys for being my teachers. Being my teachers in me letting me teach and letting me fulfill my dream of, showing people what I can do and what I do and how they can improve their lives. Okay, thank you so much for helping me become the person that I want to be. And with that being said, I'm going to end the stream. But at the end of the streams, we always like to say 4 wonderful things. The first thing that I'd like to tell you guys is love a little. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy having a beautiful, beautiful time. Hug someone. Tell them you love them. And just overall, have a little bit of love in your life. I want you guys to live a little. I want you guys to go outside for at least 5 minutes today. Enjoy a little bit of sun and enjoy a little bit of life outside of art. Okay? There's a lot of things outside of art that keeps us happy, and we need to learn to enjoy them. Laugh a little, because everybody needs a little bit of happiness in their life, right? So go read a book, something happy, watch a movie, watch a show. Make sure to get a laugh in today. And as always, at the end of our streams, we just have to remind ourselves that we have to draw a lot. Right? Without drawing, we can't get better. Without drawing, our souls die. So love a little, live a little, laugh a little, and draw a lot. Have a good one, everybody.